Today we are going to be talking about 4 popular presentation tools. We will be discussing the pros and cons of each and practice with each so that you have the skill set to customize and make your presentations unique. There are a multitude of presentation tools available in today's world. However, we are going to stick to 4 of the most popular ones: Google Slides, PowerPoint, Prezi, and Canva. There are a lot of similarities between Google Slides and PowerPoint, so it will be easy to navigate if you are used to one or the other. Prezi and Canva can take a little practice to get started, and Prezi can be a bit complicated, but Canva is pretty simple and easy to navigate once you start with a template. Google Slides is another way to make a PowerPoint presentation. So the pros are that you don't need to download any software, your work is automatically saved, you can easily collaborate with other individuals in the same presentation, which is very helpful for group presentations. There are online themes and layouts to choose from, and users can download their presentations and convert it to a PowerPoint or a PDF file. However, there are some cons. Users need internet access to edit slides. If you are editing a slide without internet access, you run the risk of your changes not being saved. You need a Gmail account in order to access Google Slides, and you can only share presentations with other people that have Gmail accounts. So if you're collaborating with someone on a presentation, they also have to have a Gmail account. There is an option to embed videos in your presentation, but it can only be embedded if it is from YouTube or uploaded into your Google Drive. There is less of a variety of animations and transitions to choose from when compared to PowerPoint. And lastly, fonts, transitions, layouts, etc. may not convert correctly if downloaded to a PowerPoint file format. For example, if you're using a specific type of font in your Google Slides presentation and you download it to a PowerPoint file and you try to open up your presentation in PowerPoint, if PowerPoint does not have that same font size or that same font type, it is going to revert back to its defaults, which is usually Arial. So you could be missing some things in the converting process. Now, PowerPoint is one of the original presentation tools, so some of you may be familiar with it. It's very similar to Google Slides, so once again, if you're good at one, chances are you'll be good at the other. Some pros are that you can create and edit presentations without an internet connection. There are themes and layouts that users can choose from. There are many animations and transitions to choose from. And slides can be printed out in a variety of formats, such as handouts. Some cons are that you have to pay to download and use PowerPoint on your computer. However, I would like to state that you might be able to get a discounted rate if you purchase PowerPoint through your school or your business. So if you are part of a big business or you're in college, I would definitely recommend researching those avenues to see if you could get a discounted rate. For example, through one of my colleges, I could have gotten the whole Microsoft Office suite for about $10. Another con is that you are not able to collaborate with users at the same time. So this can be tricky for group work. So in order to work together on a presentation, you will have to save the file, send it to your collaborator, then they will have to open it, edit it, save it again, and then send it back to you. If you are using a Mac users may opt to use Keynote software, but you can also download PowerPoint if you have a Mac as well as a PC. Prezi is another online tool for presentations that can be used. Users don't need to download any software. Your work is automatically saved. People are able to collaborate and work on a presentation at the same time. There are templates to choose from, and users can use more motion tools in their presentation. However, motion tools might not be the best thing to use if you're presenting to a large group of people and someone might get motion sickness, someone might have vertigo. There are different factors that add into it. Users will need an internet connection to access and make changes. The slides are not easily printable, and templates are not easily customizable. And users and collaborators both need a Prezi account to create or modify presentations. There is both a free and a purchase option. For free accounts, the presentations that you create are publicly viewable on Prezi's website. So the only way to make sure that your presentation is private is by paying for an account. If that's not something that you want to get into, you want to have a private presentation, and you also don't want to have to pay to make it private, then I recommend using either Google Slides or PowerPoint. Now let's talk about Canva. Canva is great if you want an easy way to make posters, cards, infographics, brochures, invitations, and on and on and on. There are hundreds of templates to choose from, and each template can be customized. No software needs to be downloaded, and work is automatically saved. Users can share their work with others by either sharing a link or downloading their file and attaching it. So here are some of the downsides. Canva does require internet access. You cannot collaborate with other individuals on the same file. Only you can edit what you create. No one else can come in and collaborate with you on it. Also, there is a fee to print out your file. However, there is a workaround with this. So you can download your file and open it up in a PDF viewer. Most of you have Adobe, and then some of you, if you open up a PDF, it just opens up in your web browser. So once the PDF is open, you're able to open it and print it on your printer. But if you click the print icon on the Canva site, it will prompt you to pay for prints that will be mailed to you, and these will be printed on cardstock. So if you wanted to have nice invitations to give out, it might be a cheaper alternative for you than going to Staples if you want something professionally printed, but you do always have that option just to print at home. And the best ways to learn how to use these tools is to practice. I promise you, you're not going to break anything. Best way to get proficient at something is to practice and play around with it. So let's start. I am going to go over PowerPoint briefly just because this is one that most people are familiar with. So let me open it up. I am using the 2016 version of PowerPoint. If you have an older or a newer version, it may look a bit different, but not too much. So to start, you can either create a blank presentation or look at the templates. So over here is where we have all the templates here. There are also ways to search for a specific online template. But if you wanted to get started, all you have to do is click on one and it'll tell you the different color themes that you can apply to it. So let's say I wanted the green one. And you can also click here for more images if you wanted to see that. And then you can hit create. So this is going to open up like this. This is where you can start adding a title and a subtitle. So if you're doing a presentation, you could do like PowerPoint presentation. And then you could do by Morgan, by me. And you can also, when you click on each of these text boxes, you can change the size of them if you want. You can also kind of rotate them if you wanted to have something on an angle like that. But if you wanted to change any of the fonts or the color of the fonts, all you have to do is highlight what you want to change, and then you can go over here and it'll show you, as you hover over each new font, it'll show you a little example of what it would look like. And you can also do that for font size. And then to change the color, you'll click on this A, and then I could change it to green, to purple, to orange, or I could keep it white. So that's what you do with that. Now there are ways to also change the color of the slide if you want to. So if you go on the Design tab up here at the top, this is going to show you could either choose one of these pre-made ones, and if you hover over each of these, it's going to show you the example. It does not mean that you've selected to choose your entire presentation of this, so don't freak out if you see it changing on you, because if we just move the mouse off, it goes back. But what you can do is you can hit Format Background, and this is where you can choose different shades if you wanted. You can choose the color. If you wanted it purple, it would change to that. Change to orange. You can also change the transparency and the brightness as well. So these are a lot of tools that you can play with to really make your slide unique. And I would recommend at least tweaking it a little bit, because templates are great and they're great to get started. But if you only use the template, everyone else that uses that same template, their presentation is going to look exactly like yours. So to add a new slide, you will go to the Insert, and you'll go over here to New Slide, and it'll actually, this is really handy, it'll let you choose what kind of layout you want this slide to have. So you may want to do a blank one, or you can choose one of these, but we'll choose a blank one. And if you wanted to insert a text box, all you have to do is go over here to Text Box, and then you're going to click and drag on your screen, and this is now your text box. And once again, you can always change the formatting options over here as well. There are effects, and there are also size and positions. If you ever wanted to get rid of a text box, all you have to do is right click on it and hit Cut, and it will delete it for you. You also have the option of inserting pictures, videos, and audio. So to insert a video or an audio, all you have to do is click either video or audio. You can choose online, or you can choose a video that's already on your PC. If you click online, it only gives you really a YouTube option. So if you had created a video specifically that's on your computer, all you have to do is do video on my PC, and it will open up your computer like this. So if I wanted to embed one of my other webinars, like cover letters, all I have to do is click on it and hit Insert, and it's going to show up. And this is taking up the whole screen, but this is the video. So I can make that smaller if I want, and I can really position it anywhere on the page that I choose. And then it gives you the play options and volume options as well. And when you click on it, you can change if you wanted to create a border on it. It's very faint, but you can also change the size of the border. You see how the white border is getting larger at the very bottom, and then it's going to shrink as I go up. So, I mean, there's a way to customize everything on this. In audio, you can insert audio on my PC, or you can actively record an audio to put it on your presentation. It's very simple. Now to add an animation for this video, let's say I wanted it to hide until I had clicked or hit the space bar during my slideshow presentation. All you have to do is click on the item that you wanted to add an animation to, and then you'll go up here to the Animations tab, and this is where, let's say I wanted it to fade in. Right here it defaults to on a click. So if I wanted to start from the very beginning, and down here we can click here to start the slideshow. So I click this next slide, it's not coming up yet, but once I click one more time, it's going to fade in. So that's just another option you may want. So if I wanted to add a transition from the first slide to this slide, what I can do is I can go up here to the Transitions tab, and these are all the transitions that you can choose from. So I like the random bars. If you click on it, it's going to show you what it'll look like. You could also do a shape, and you can also do a wipe or a push. There's a lot to choose from. You can change the speed of your transition, and you can also add a sound if you wanted to. But to totally see it in all of its entirety, all you have to do is click on the first slide, go down here and click slideshow, and then we'll click and there's your transition, and then click again and there is your video. So that is a very, very brief overview of PowerPoint, and now let's go over to Google Slides. Google Slides is very similar to PowerPoint, but since it's online, people can edit presentations at the same time, which is why it's really great for group work or team presentations. Once again, since it is online, you do need internet access. So to start, just like a PowerPoint, you can either create a blank presentation or choose one from the templates. And some of the templates already have the slides mapped out for you, so all you have to do is plug in the information. Let me show you an example of both. So let's say I wanted to click on your big idea. This is a pre-made template that has the slides already added. So over here on the left, you see that it already has 20 slides already filled out for you. And all you have to do is click in each text box and just add in your information. And you can also change the pictures in the background here by clicking up here, replace image, and you can upload from your computer. You can search the web. If you have a URL pulled up, you can do that. Also, if you have your drive or your photos for Google already set up, you can do that as well. So this is if you're trying to get something done really fast and you just want it to look good and you don't have the time to really customize it the way you want. This might be a good option for you. But let's start with the blank presentation. Let's go back. So start a blank presentation. On the right-hand side, these are all of the themes that you can choose from. So for my presentation tools, I had this theme, but let's do this theme. And you can click on background, and this will let you change the color of your background. You can also choose an image if you wanted to add that. And once again, you can do that by URL. You can do it, choose an image to upload, and that'll just take you to your computer. You can reset the theme if you want to go back to the way it was. And then you'll hit done. To add a new slide, all you have to do, you can hit this plus sign, or if you click the drop down box, it is going to give you the different layouts that you can have for your slide. So I want this one, but I really want the background to be a different color. So you click on background. Right now, it's only going to change half of the image. It's going to change the white. That's just a setting within this theme. So I want to keep it that blue. And then you hit done. And now you can get started. So it already has these text boxes ready for you. If you wanted to get rid of one, once again, right click and then hit cut. It might be easier if you click on something and you hit delete with your delete key. That tends to work better with Google Slides. So I can hit delete. I can also hit insert text box right there. I can start typing in it. I can highlight it and change the font. I can change the size of the font. I can make it bold. I can change the color to white. It's very similar to PowerPoint. So let's say I wanted this to fade in. So what I can do up here, it actually opens up a transitions on the side when you click on something. So what you can do is you can, right now it's a slide, no transition. So I can change this. If you click on that drop down, you can change to a flip. And you can hit play and it'll show you a preview of what it would look like. And you can also change the speed if you wanted to. But you do have to hit stop to be able to go back and edit everything. And if I really wanted an animation on this word, all I have to do is click on it and then I can hit insert animation. So I really wanted to fly in from the left. Once I click on it, yeah. And we'll do a medium speed. And so you hit play and it'll show you the entire animation for that slide. And then I'll click and then it fades in. So that's just some of the things that you can do with this. If you wanted to insert a video, this only inserts from YouTube. So you can click insert video. You can search YouTube. If you have a specific URL, you can do that. If you upload a video in your Google Drive, you can also use that. And I had uploaded this previously for a different presentation I was doing. So I can click on that and hit select. And it's going to open up here. And once again, you can make it as big or as small as you want. And then you can lay it out anywhere. If you want to make sure it's center, all you have to do is hover it around. You're going to get a red line. And that's going to show you the center of the slide. And then you hit play. And
Artist Works for Libraries
right
offers you.
You can also go full screen if you wanted to do that as well as you're doing your presentation. Now to insert an image, it can be really tricky. So we can go, let's go Google. And we'll look up clip art images. Okay, I want to add this donut. So I'm going to right click and hit copy image. Now, if you click where you wanted to add it, you see how this text box is coming up. So you really do need to shorten your text box and then you can add in your image. If you try to right click and hit paste, it's going to have this Control+V option. I don't know why Google Slides does this, but if you click on paste, it's going to tell you that you really need to do Control+V in order to paste. You don't have to install this. I don't know why this is an option. So all you have to do is hit Control+V on your keyboard. So hold down Control and hit V, and there's your image. And then you can make it as big or as small as you want. And once again, you can move it around to get those red lines, and that'll give you a good grid line to make sure that everything is lined up perfectly. Once again, if you wanted to add an animation to this, you can click on it and hit Add Animation, and then play with these settings to see what you like. If you ever wanted to get rid of an animation, like if I wanted to get rid of the animation on this, all you have to do is you click on it and it opens it up and you can hit this X and it's gone now. So there's going to be no animation for the presentation word anymore. So that is it for Google Slides. It's very similar to PowerPoint. So now we are going to take a look at Prezi. So this is Prezi. And I'm just going to show you the getting started so you have a general idea of what it is, because it can be tricky to explain unless you actually see it. So this is a Prezi presentation. And this one is actually interactive with users. Some of them aren't. So you can click on each one of these to kind of begin. So I can click on the collaborate and then it takes me to this, and then I can also click on the picture. So it's very interactive, but you have to zoom out. You can also play with the arrows as well if you wanted to. And the arrows take you through the entire presentation. This may actually zoom out, and we're just going to go back to the very beginning. There is a presenter view option, but it costs money. But if we were presenting this, let's say, and you made it, you could click on the arrows, and it uses zoom features to go into each thing. So once again, this can be a little too much if you have vertigo or you get motion sick. So this is basically what a Prezi is. It is like a slide within a slide within a slide. So it can be very complicated to design, and it can be a little confusing for people to actually interact with it as well. But it's just a different thing that you can always use. So if I wanted to edit this get started, you can look at the style. This is where you can change the background. You can change the shapes that are here and the colors and the text and the body. So the colors you could choose, I like this color. And you see how it changed some of it as well. If you wanted to change your font, your color, all you had to do is highlight it, and then once again, you can just go over here and pick the font you want. You can increase or decrease the size. You can add a color if you wanted to. You can highlight it. The background color, you can change that in the box as well. So if we open up one of these, we'll hit zoom in. This is where you can start your presentation. So you can hit replace image. These are the free images. You can also upload your own image that you have saved on your computer. So let's say I don't want the paintbrush, I want a dog. So you click on the dog and then it uploads there. But the trouble is that it doesn't fit within the circle. So I could make it smaller. And then if you wanted, these are all subpoints that open up in their own slide as well. So you click on the one you want and you hit zoom in. And this is where, once again, you can start adding to all of this. There's an insert button right up here, and this is where you can insert an image, a PDF, you can insert charts and videos. The videos only insert from YouTube. You can add an arrow. You can add a shape. So let's say I want an arrow and I like this arrow, and you can click and drag, or you can just click on it and it'll show up. And then you can make it bigger, you can make it diagonal. Once again, you just really have to play around with this to be able to really understand it. And then when you're done with this and you want to go back, all you have to do is hit this zoom out button in the bottom. So that's it for Prezi. I'm not going to go further in detail because it does have a lot of similarities with PowerPoints and Google Slides. But once again, you just really have to play with it to get the hang of it. So now we are going to go and work with Canva. Canva is really great if you wanted to design something really fast, but still have it look really good. So to get started, you can click Create a Design here. And then you can hit custom dimensions. You can say you're going to do a poster or card. This is just so it knows the dimensions of the item that you're choosing. If you didn't want to mess with this, you can also just go over here to create a design. And this is going to show you all of the templates that they have. And some of them have motion, some of them don't. And I mean, there are so many templates on here. So let's say you really wanted to create an invitation. So you can click on it to open it up. And here are some Christmas invitations, party invitations, birthday, so it splits it up. So let's say you wanted to do a birthday invitation. These are not the only two templates for birthday. You hit see all and it's going to show you all the birthday options. So there are just so many templates, I can't stress that enough. So you can click on that one to get started. And each of these things, let's see, I wanted to add an exclamation point, and I'll add Mary turns 13. And I really want this to be yellow. There you go. And if I really wanted the smiley face to be the other way, or I wanted to get rid of it altogether, I can just hit the delete key on my keyboard and it's gone. I can also go up here and hit the undo arrow if I wanted it back. And let's say that you really wanted to change the color of this background. So all you have to do is, you don't want to click on a text box, you want to click on an area where a text box does not show up. So that selects the entire background. And then you can go over here and change the background color if you wanted to. You can also add notes if you wanted to, and you can also copy it if you wanted to just alter, like you wanted one that said Mary, and then you wanted the same one that says Oscar if you had twins or something. You can delete it, you can copy it, you can add notes again, you can also add a new page, and that gives you a very blank page if you wanted to start with just the background. And then to delete it, you just hit the delete page button here. And then let's say you wanted to delete the second copy of it, you can hit the delete again there. So over here on the left are all of your options to choose from. There are free photos here. It'll show you the recently used, so that's what I recently used in some of my previous presentations with Canva. So once again, you can click on one of these pictures and it'll show up there. And then if you don't like it, you can right click and hit delete, or you can hit the delete key on your keyboard. If you wanted to add your own photo, once again, you can go to Google and let's say I really want pancake clip art or something. So I like that. So we'll click on it, right click, hit copy image, and then go back over to your invitation. It won't let you right click and hit paste. It's gonna pop up with that same, you have to hit Control+V to paste, just like Google Slides. So hold down Control on your keyboard and hit V, and there's your image. And you can change the position of your image if you really want it to go forward. If you want it to go behind the text, you can also do that as well. Do backward. You can change, you want it in the middle, you want it to the left, you want it to the right or the bottom. You can also change the transparency of it. You can link it to a website if you wanted to. And then you can also click over here and delete the image. These are custom made shapes and clip art on Canva, so you can use any of these if you want. So you wanted to add the heart, you can click on that, and then once again you can drag it to reduce the size, and then say you wanted it right there. You can also search up here if there is something in mind that you wanted. You can also add text, so let's say that you didn't like either of these. So you can right click and hit delete, right click and hit delete, and then right click and delete on that. And let's say you really wanted the layout to look like this. So you can click on that and that's going to give you your options. And then you can start changing any of this font that you want. You can change any of the words, you can get rid of that, you can get rid of this thing up here, you can just right click and hit delete, and that gets rid of that box. So you're stuck with this box and this down here. And then you can also add it at an angle if you wanted to, and you can also move it. I don't know why moving can be so complicated sometimes. There we go. And once again, you're going to have that red line right there where the true center of the invitation is. And then we can make it smaller and then click and move again. You can add videos if you wanted to. They have a lot of free videos on their site. You can also search up here for a specific video, and then you just click on the one you want and it shows up there, and you can click and drag it wherever you want. You can also change the background a lot. If you really wanted more of a pattern, you can click on that, or if you wanted a blue like this, you can click on that. Once again, if you click on something and you don't like it, you can always hit the undo button up here and it goes back, and you just keep clicking it until you get where you want to be. You can click here. Here are some options for you. You can adjust the tint if you wanted to. See how it's getting slightly different there. You can make it blur. That's really only if you have like a picture background that you wanted to do. You can also crop and hit done. You can also flip If you wanted to, if you had a background that actually had something other than a solid sheet of color, you can flip it horizontally or vertically. And uploads here is where you can upload your own personal images and videos that are on your computer. So if you didn't want this video here and you really wanted something that's on your computer, all you had to do is upload an image or video, and I wanted this one, and hit open, and it's uploading on Canva's website. And then I can get rid of this while that's uploading and hit delete. All right, and it'll tell you it's processing. Hello everyone, today, and that was my previous webinar. And so you click on it to add it, and then you can add it there. So that's good if you had an electronic flyer that you wanted to send everyone. And then down here you can create folders if you wanted to as well. So there's a lot of options to go through. You can save it to Dropbox, you can share it to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube if you wanted to. There's just so much you can do with Canva. And so I would highly recommend playing around with it. Now, once again, like I said in the very beginning of this presentation, if you click Print Invitations, it's going to come up with a cost. This is because this option is if you wanted to have it printed professionally on cardstock and mailed to you. And this may be a cheaper option than going to Staples if you had a bunch of birthday invitations you wanted to give out. If you wanted to print it at home, all you have to do is hit this download arrow. And because I have a video in it, it's weird, but if I got rid of the video, let me show you, and hit the download key, it's going to suggest the PDF. You can also click the down arrow to select what you wanted to, if you wanted a JPEG or a PDF, and then you hit download. This is just a pop-up. You don't have to do anything with this. You can just hit the X. And this is your download here, so you can click on it to open it up. And then you hit the print button here to print it home. So all of this was a very brief overview of just some of the tools that you can use to really create and design good presentations, even if you aren't a graphic designer. Once again, play around with these to get used to them. You can't break anything, so give it your best shot. Good luck, everyone.